guys, you wanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, these little kids, my mother always says, as long as there's little ones around, it's always fun, you know?
Yeah.
So make the teenagers into the teachers.
Right, well,
I'm gonna call the December meeting to order. Right, first item is the approval of the October minutes. I realized after I sent them out that I forgot to include the treasurer's report and the solicitor's report, but they're just attachments. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries, all right. And then the minutes also for today will reflect that we had no meeting on November the 6th. Treasurer's report.
Okay, so this is a double report because we didn't have the meeting. We started out the 1st of October with roughly $10,000, and after everything's been cashed, we have $7,700. However, Chester just signed 3 checks tonight, which takes us down to $5,675.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? Then I'll ask for a motion to approve the report.
So moved. Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. You had some questions regarding receipts and stuff.
Right, so I'm asking for payment, you have to vote on this, for, this goes back to February, when I first took this over in January. So it's for $29.20 for postage and $3.70 for envelopes.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve those bills?
So moved.
Peggy, you have a second?
Second.
Dennis? All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, great.
So, Chester, how am I gonna do this? I write the check out myself to me,
Yeah, right.
and I sign it, and you sign it,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just like it's a regular check?
Yep.
Okay.
When is the next allotment from the townships, the first of the year?
They'll be, we'll probably be asking for them in at the January meeting. Because if we're down to like, $5,600, we're gonna be, it won't be long before we're gonna need to replenish. So we might as well just send out a letter in January to do that, and we'll be done. And we'll have a sample budget, or not so much of a budget, but what we expect to spend. The bigger budget items are, we did allocate additional funds for the sign ordinance. So that's kind of like in addition to what our normal expenses are. So we'll capture all that in the reassessment next month. All right, old business solicitor's report.
Thank you. I worked with Michelle on the wireless ordinance to make one change in order to make sure that the existing towers in Newtown are not non-conforming. So that revised ordinance was circulated to everybody to go back to the planning commissions just for review of that small portion that was changed. It was also sent to the county for the county to review that change. And then hopefully after that round, it'll be able to be authorized for advertisement and hopefully adoption. I know, yeah. The billboard ordinance has been authorized by everybody for adoption, but I was waiting to do the 2 of them at the same time, just to save on the advertising and only do 1 set of advertising. So that's just being held right now until we get the wireless one authorized. The parking core apartment was still on here, but we have been asked now to remove that, so that will come off because there's not anything further happening on that. And then I had just added at the bottom, it doesn't have a jointure number or an ordinance or anything yet, but the sign amendments, which the county, obviously, our planning consultants will talk about when we get to their part. And that's it.
Sounds good. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Can I ask, are we doing the sign ordinance
tonight? Because I thought we had pushed that off till next year, no?
We're gonna get some updates, but we're not gonna actually be working on doing stuff. I think, I mean, we have some documentation, I've seen some forms that have been circulated. So we've got a lot of stuff that, you know, kind of in the pipeline that we can, you know, queue up for next year. And with the change of boards, it probably makes a lot more sense to wait till January to try to, you know, push anything, so. All right, so we're gonna move to the planners report.
Okay, thank you. So I guess Dave will probably really explain most of just bringing everybody up to date, but everybody should have received, I believe digitally, the definitions again, the signed definitions, the draft, as well as 2 different worksheets. I think we had talked about one sheet just listing all the definitions, all the signs that we're defining or providing definitions for. And then the idea is to look at the definition and decide, is it a sign that is appropriate in the jointure? Where do they think it might be the best for location for that in terms of like districts or areas? And then the other worksheet is actually, Dave can explain a little more, but it's really, it's getting to what districts certain signs would be permitted in, as well as size, and maximum size. Those were the 2 things I think we have in that. And we did actually put in numbers. We had gone back and forth, shouldn't we, but we thought maybe that would be good. We went over this, we thought maybe that would be good to sort of help guide the discussion. So they're just sort of numbers for consideration, but nothing, it really has to be the committee's choice in terms of what they feel is best appropriate. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Dave.
Oh, okay, well, we presented a list of signs, and the first thing we sent out was the definitions of each type. We added probably 2/3 more than you actually had, because technology and marketing has changed so much that they've added a lot of new ones that we didn't have in the ordinance. As far as the signs by district, the first thing we wanted to do is you have your list of signs. Now you have to figure out which ones are appropriate for which district. Because each zoning district in the ordinance has its own purpose and it's got its own character, and we want to fit the right kind of sign into that character of the district. Because your ordinance presently just provides signage by land use, which can cause some problems. So we have the zoning map up. Not yet. Oh, great, it's bigger. Yeah, we have the lowest
Mind everybody's way here?
classification district in the rural holding area. It's called conservation management. You have Jericho Mountain. This is mostly farmland, large lots. You want to have the most restrictive signs there. It's not an appropriate place, and there aren't any real businesses of any consequence, any real big ones that need a lot of visibility. You probably just have some identifications, the name of a farm, maybe the name of a farm stand, something like that. Maybe the odd old industrial non-conforming use. And then you have the villages, the VR1, and then the VR2. We're starting to get bigger signs, more signs for businesses. And then the next classification would be CR Country Residential. Again, that's more residential, not as many signs, identification signs, house numbers, that sort of thing. And then we get into the more dense industrial districts, commercial districts, where businesses want people to know where they are. They want to know the hours of operation, what's on sale, that sort of thing. So it's, each type of sign is appropriate for each district. And we also joined a couple districts because they have a character that's similar, like CR1, CR2, CM, JM, and VR1 and VR2 are similar. And the R1 and the R2. So generally, as I said before, we want to focus on the character of the district. For instance, it might be okay if you guys want to have billboards along Newtown bypass.
No, we don't.
We do.
Okay, that's good, yeah. You might want to allow larger signs in the commercial district. Perhaps a changeable copy sign for a car dealership that wants to say, all the Fords are on sale this month. But you wouldn't want to allow that in R2 or CM. In the CR and the CRs, you want to have smaller signs. And you can have design regulations that specify how tall they are, what they're going to look like, the colors, that sort of thing. And specifically, your ordinance has specific regulations for signs in your historic districts, which are here in red, that one. Can't remember all the Washington Crossing.
We're down here in Newtown, we have all historic districts.
Right, yeah, you want to be very careful with those because you have a very special character and you don't want to have the signs take away from the appearance and context of the buildings. So your job over the holidays, pick which ones you think are best in those districts. And everybody, it's about a month since the election and most of those signs are gone. I know Chester County had a sign recycling program. We're gonna have to try that in Bucks. Because it's a lot of plastic and steel poles.
Montgomery County also does it.
Yes, tremendous idea. Because they have to go somewhere and they really shouldn't end up in the landfill. But early November is a perfect example of how we want to regulate signs. Because if they're placed badly, they present safety issues at an intersection. If they leave the ground, they can create a hazard for your car tires. And they just plain don't look that nice when there's so many of them. And some of them are also illegal in that they're placed in a public right of way. Can't do that. Any questions about this?
In terms of this table,
Yeah, we have,
these are just you just put down a number of signs. You're not suggesting that we have an athletic field sign in a specific district.
Right.
You're just giving examples for us
giving
to.
examples, and all the numbers in the cells are just what we've seen in other communities, and we thought they were rational and a start. And for instance, athletic signs, that was kind of difficult because we had to figure out where your parks are. Right? Parks in a lot of different districts. And one thing in particular was signage at the county community college. They're going to have signs there that may not be anywhere else, like a kiosk or a banner, a pole banner. You're not really going to have those in the more dense parts of the community. But at the college, they're perfectly appropriate. And we have one called an upper level building sign, which is usually on the top of a multi-story building that may give the name or the insignia of a business. We're probably going to only have those in the OR and LI district.
In Newtown, we have no roof mounted signs are permitted.
Okay, good. In particular, I ride my bike through this area a lot, and I go past Pineville Tavern a lot, and I noticed they have an awning. They have signs on the vertical part and an insignia on the angle part. I thought that was very interesting. And you know, Pineville Tavern is split in two. So Buckingham and Wrightstown. And the signage is slightly different on each side of the island. So these things can be very particular. So driving home and driving around, people beginning to recognize the different types and thinking, maybe that doesn't belong here. Maybe it's better somewhere else. As a planner, that's Lisa and I do.
Or not.
It would only be us
Or
that
not
would
at
be
all.
saying that, yeah.
And it drives our spouses crazy. So again, you have a lot before you. You have a list. You have the district in which to place them. And the other 6 tables, which gives an idea of where to start regulating height, size, and number in a district.
So is there gonna be some kind of like comparison, like this is what currently exists and this is what could possibly exist?
We didn't do that, but a number of them we.
Or what's
pulled out.
currently permitted, I
Yeah,
should
the
say.
existing ones. Generally, the ones you permit now, we put the figures in the draft.
Okay,
There are a lot of new ones, and we had to generate our own figures. And it's just a guide. If you don't agree,
all right.
pencil them in and bring them up to the next meeting, and we can discuss it.
I know, I feel like sometimes maybe we're opening a can of worms here, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't agree with anything.
Also, like, Newtown might have a need for different signs than Upper Makefield and Wrightstown.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah. Right.
That's fine, I think that can
Yeah.
be noted, that can be in.
Yeah,
So can I ask you a question? Because I was thinking this. So I agree, because I was thinking the same thing you did, Ellen. So maybe Upper Makefield should just think about Upper Makefield when they're filling in these things, and each township does.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say that right there, there's one form says, it says permitted in the jointure, yes or no. It should be permitted in Newtown, permitted in Wrightstown, permitted in Upper Makefield. That way we can each make our own determination whether that type of sign should be permitted. So because we could have differences, you know, between the 3 townships.
Differences aside from the designations of, there's only one place that's Jericho Mountain, and there's only one place that's convenience commercial.
Correct. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so we just need to spell it.
what's that?
I think we're all saying the same thing. We just need to spell it out.
Yeah, we just need to spell it out. So the question is this something that we want to do here? Or does it make more sense to ask each of the planning commissions?
So let me just say this one time. This project started off trying to improve the existing language with simple pictures. And I just feel like we've gone like way beyond everything that we talked about doing. And I mean, I'm not opposed to canceling this whole thing dead in the water right now, just because it went so far beyond what we originally thought we were doing. With that being said, some of the points that have been brought up are fair enough, and maybe it's worth some consideration to make sure we have the proper coverage. But I wouldn't be jumping to just add all new different types of signs.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a difference between like adding them and regulating them, because I think the concern is we're not regulating a lot of
Understood.
what we probably should.
Understood,
So we're like,
and you and I are saying the same thing.
yeah, like one challenge away from,
Yep.
I don't know, human billboard.
We should probably.
Yeah, and I know Jane is big on the human billboard sign, it's like, but we don't cover it, you know? So it'd be good to spell out what it is and then say, not permitted in Wrightstown and probably Newtown and
Guys want to
wherever.
go over to our house and put a billboard on it?
Yeah.
And I think that would lead to a much easier process.
To have the planning commissions do it?
Yes.
Yeah,
And I don't think it would take us that long to go through this. Right?
No, I
can't
think
tell
we're,
you.
you know, and anybody that, you know, wants to put a sign in, they have to come into planning anyway for approval,
I
so we
agree.
see them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Are these definitions ready to go out for the planning commission to look at, so people can just get an idea of where we're going with this? Is this
That's a
complete?
start. I wanted to mention, after the last meeting in October, I guess it was, we added one. And I felt this is an ongoing process because you might be driving along and say, oh, that's not on the list. And also, we might want to amend the definition of each particular time. And because you're going to have 3 planning commissions look at it. And they might have some other better ideas.
Well, and I think if the worksheets are gonna go to the planning commissions, the definitions have to. It has to
Are
go
we
as a
ready now?
packet.
Are these definitions ready now?
I think that's the next step probably is.
I think they're as good as they're gonna get. I mean, we could have the Bucks County Planning Commission play with this for the next 6 months, but they're not the ones gonna make the final decision of what these meetings are gonna be. So, I mean, we need to get them into the individual townships to say, this makes sense or does not make sense.
Okay, so can I ask a question? Could we get whoever has the draft on this, or this document, can we get this out soon so that we get these on our agendas?
Yeah.
It was sent out, right, to the members, but do you want us to send it to managers or? is
Well,
that-
I need a
No,
clean
no,
copy.
we'll just recirculate it. I just think it might be lost, so
Okay.
let's just recirculate it after today. We'll go back and we'll recirculate it to everybody, and then you can put it in front of your planning commissions. We'll give you a new email with the definitions, the worksheets and everything, so that way you have it in one packet and can give it to your planning commission.
And ask, and outline which each planning commission should choose. So they should review the definitions and say, does it make sense? Should it be edited?
Gotcha. How's that? We'll spell out some instructions for the planning commission.
Instructions would be wonderful.
Okay, perfect.
I think in general, we probably all agree, but there might be minor things that each township thinks it's better for them, right? Does
Yeah,
that
definitely, yeah.
make sense?
We have a lot of medical office buildings that need identification.
Michelle, do you have any comments?
I just have a quick question. If we, as the Newtown Planning Commission, if we go through this list, should we not say yes or no to every single sign in here, whether we want it or not?
Yes.
And then a later discussion will be where to put it.
Correct.
Because if we say not applicable, I imagine somebody brings in a sign such as a vending machine sign, then it might be allowed, that vending machine sign, unless we put it in the ordinance. Is that correct? Right, so we should say yes or no to every single definition.
Yeah, that's the point that Ron was making that I think is, that's the most value that we've got of doing this.
That's what I agree with that.
And then, if it's yes, where is the best place for it?
Yes.
And
No, it's for this one, right?
Correct,
So-
yes. Yeah, Dennis, I think that's later on. Right.
And we should also suggest to the planning commissions that if they think of a new sign or additional signs, they should add it to the list and come up with, maybe a definition or,
And if it's not defined, it makes it harder for the zoning officer to interpret it. And with new technology, there will be some new technology coming and maybe new types of signs. At the last meeting specifically, there was discussion about sidewalk signs. I did some research on that, and it's difficult to regulate for a couple reasons. Number one, it could be kids with chalk. It could be using a template and a high pressure washer. You can put a template down on moldy concrete and create an image. You could actually use paint. But the problem is, it's not really a safety matter, it's not necessarily aesthetic. And I found it might be better to consider a specific ordinance based on graffiti. So that would not necessarily be in zoning, because it's really not a land use.
Yeah, I don't think we have to regulate kids drawing on the sidewalk.
No, not like a homeowners association.
Well, I taught high school, and we went through a season where the kids were putting tags everywhere.
Oh, I'm
In the
just talking about they
bathrooms.
do, hopscotch, all that stuff. In my neighborhood, that's what all the kids do, like little hopscotch things.
Well, we'll arrest
And
those
then when it
kids.
rains, it just dissolves.
I'm not talking about kids, I'm talking about the tags, they put them on with paint, they gotta be
I got
removed.
you, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a
That
distinction
is
between
graffiti.
chalk, graffiti.
You don't want to lock up little kids?
No.
Don't want to do scared straight or anything like that.
Conceivably, somebody could use latex or acrylic paint on a public sidewalk and somebody slips. It's not really a zoning matter.
it's law enforcement.
Yeah.
We also added a definition, I think it's in the latest version of identification sign. That would be something somebody puts on their wall to identify their house or their business. And it's just a little more specific.
You started this.
Gotta get done.
I just think everybody that needs
After
a
40
sign or
years,
wants
we
a
gotta do
sign
something.
comes to the planning commission, and we, our planning commission does a great job as, to regulate, to discuss options, and I think,
I think you're right,
really
Ellen.
good at it.
I agree with
So
you.
I don't think we need to get too deep into some of these things.
Well, I feel the opposite. I feel we should kind of negate anything we really don't want. And then,
that's
if
fine.
they want it, come to planning commission and we can discuss it with them.
Yeah.
But not, right off the bat, we have it, you can't have it, and then they have to come to us to get a variance or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's what happens.
Right now, that's what happens, but
Yeah.
Is that the new ordinance? Assume no until you're told.
I think that'd be
I think it
very
works that
easy.
way.
That would be nice introductory language, all signs are prohibited, except.
Everything you want to do is a no.
I think the law is that you have to give the property owner the benefit of the doubt if it's not defined.
Not the sign police are coming to get you.
Okay, so we will do that, and we will get that out so that
That'll be
the
good.
planning commissions can start to work on this.
You want to give yourselves a time limit or a time frame in order to?
They've always worked well. They've always worked well.
What I did, if you could put a note in your transition document to,
I just figured it out.
make sure that
This is your last meeting, so
We
you can
get,
get lots
like-
of good ideas.
reports every month or every other month from each of the planning commissions, just so we know what the progress is. Or they can be reported out here. I mean, that's the other option too.
When you start to have planning commission meetings addressing this, you might have business owners coming in that might not want to have too many regulations.
They're welcome to come in.
Okay, regulations.
They want no regulation. All right.
All right.
Okay, I was just gonna suggest, I think it would be a good thing for us to not have 12 meetings a year, and I know we don't, but I would like to suggest quarterly meetings. I think that is a better way to let us handle our business in a couple of months instead of coming back and we can't do anything in a month. So it always takes for everything, it takes more than that. So that was my suggestion coming in here today. Give us more time to work on what we decide, and then we have a couple months to which to develop it and see what changes we want to make. And I think it's more convenient for everybody, because sometimes we come and there's not much on the agenda to talk about. So is there a way to condense things so it's quarterly or even every, for 6 a year or 4 a year, something like that? I'm putting it out there.
So you could also leave it as monthly, subject to direction from the chair. If there is an action that needs to be taken or is ready to be taken, we could meet, and if it's not ready to be taken, we could just produce
Well, that's fine.
produce a written update.
As long as it's not like every month, like we can condense it and wait. That's.
But then we
that's all.
have to advertise it. So
Yeah, I
So let's
understand.
advertise it for every month, and then the chair can make the decision.
I understand, but here we are advertising things for years, you know what I mean? So like, we have things that we haven't even, that's on our agenda, and we keep seeing it year after year after year. So hopefully we can work on those things, and we don't have to come in with like a load of things that we've seen for a long time, and we can get through some of this stuff
Yeah.
faster.
That can work. I mean, it also requires that, our solicitor is going to harangue each township every month just to make sure that, that things are moving
Yeah, that's
forward,
fine.
because that's,
And again, Chester, if you think we need to meet for something that can't wait, then we do.
and, I mean, I'm fine with the idea of trying to meet, every other month or quarterly. I mean, that's, that works for me.
Would anybody be opposed to that?
I would.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it.
Yeah, I am too, because I really take a lot from these meetings, even if we have a short agenda. Then when I have to present it to the planning commission, I just feel like now I know what I have to do, and I know what I'm going to do. So I would rather see it advertised every month, and then we can make a call. If it's advertised, that doesn't mean you have to have it. but it's advertised in case we say we need it. And then we can, just like we cancel them all the time.
Yeah, because I mean, during the summer, we cancel them, you know,
I
for
know.
a period of time, and we canceled it in November because we
I
really
know.
didn't have anything, so, I mean, there's some.
I'm
there
just
are
saying, if we
opportunities.
have things to work on, we have a meeting. If there's,
I understand what you're saying, and I'm not opposed to an aggressive policy of canceling them. So if there is no action that's ready, obviously, there's no real
That's
value in
that's all
this
I'm
meeting.
saying.
So, you know, I have no problem doing that. I just get nervous about just saying.
I know you do.
I do find the solicitor's reports valuable. And maybe you want to suggest having those go out once a month.
Even if there is no
Even if
meeting.
there is no
Yeah,
meeting, just to
right.
keep things.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. That should be rolling, because that'll be able to tell you whether something's ready or not.
Right.
So what you're saying is, if we met less frequently, even if we were advertising every month still, we would have a longer session where we really roll up our sleeves and dig
Correct.
into stuff and,
Yes,
you know, rather than being like, okay, we're checking in on this again, where
Yeah.
are we? That's kind of what you're
that's
saying,
all
right?
I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
And I think some of the, like the supervisors, I know in Newtown, we have sort of different schedules now that we have 2 new supervisors. So I think it would be more convenient for them as well, because they're not retired like me and Dennis, they're working people, and I think it would be more convenient for them as well. So I'm just putting it out there. We'll have to decide.
Yeah, we don't,
But let's think about it and.
Well, you have to decide just in terms of the advertising, because the advertising
Of
has to be
course.
done, yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as everybody's okay advertising one a month and then just rolling on the cancellation policy, we're good for tonight.
Like, I think January, it's really important for us to meet. Like, of course, we reorg, we have new supervisors and all of
Yeah.
that. So, when we need to meet, we meet.
So maybe we do, like try, advertise it monthly, try to do it roughly quarterly. And if it's working, then perhaps next year we revisit actually advertising it differently, if that makes sense at that time. If it doesn't make sense, then we don't do that.
It makes sense right now.
Well,
and as I'm looking at our ordinances that are listed, I mean, once we get the wireless well, we actually don't even have to meet, you know, for the purposes of the wireless ordinance and the billboard ordinance. So that's,
That's
because
exactly what I'm saying.
so that's moving through the process. But if we get any new ordinances, you know, at some point, you know, we're gonna have to meet. So the next really big question is, you know, like when are the sign ordinance, you know, gonna show up? And that's gonna take a while. I mean, it's not gonna, you know, we're not gonna see, I don't think we're gonna see anything in the first quarter, you know, from
Yeah.
the 3 planning commissions.
But we'll at least have a direction. So we'll do the work we need to do over the holidays and whatever, come back with something in January, and then we'll amend it from there and see where we go. And if we need to have a meeting in 2 months or 3 months, that's fine, and we'll get it done. And we can do a lot of this just like, again, with planning and talking to the other supervisors and things. So that's all.
That'll work.
I'm not rejecting you guys.
I think it's-
That makes me feel better.
I think it's important to remember, like, notwithstanding the monthly schedule, if something truly urgent came up, we are not precluded from calling a special meeting and having a meeting.
Yeah.
And
So you would just advertise monthly, as we always have, and then,
Yeah, we would still advertise the first Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock, so that, you know, that time is booked. And I guess I would ask that everybody, you know, pencil it in on their calendars so that, you know, that it doesn't disappear on your schedules, because that's the other thing, is as soon as you take a meeting off the schedule, it gets filled up with some other meeting. Absolutely. So,
Good point.
Don't worry, I definitely have joined your first Thursday of every month. Oh my God. I won't forget.
So one of the nice things, just not to belabor this, one of the nice things about getting together more frequently instead of less frequently is that I've always found this to be a good meeting for the 3 townships to talk about, current events, even if it's not an ordinance. It's been a place to understand what's happening to each of the townships, and if there's something that we can all be aware of, it helps each other. So I would just keep that in mind as well, because I think that is beneficial.
What, give an example of it. What-
You have a,
Bridge,
Yeah.
the pipeline stuff that impacts,
you guys have something that comes up that's
Yeah.
significant, it's,
like
Helps us to know.
support letters need to go back and forth. Or even, like I just saw you guys, PFAS situation.
Show up, yeah.
Water treatments.
Actually, it's showing up everywhere, it turns out.
Yes, when we definitely need to talk about that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know. Do we need to talk about it every month or
No,
when there's an
no,
update?
I think your point is made, I'm just
Yeah.
adding to the.
I mean, I think Upper Makefield certainly has a case for us talking, until they get that situation straightened out, along with the elected officials, whether we need to be talking about that, that's for sure. And whatever else comes up, that's important. There's no problem with that. It's just, let's do what we need to do when we need to do it, and if we don't need to do it, we'll circulate it and get a consensus. Is that good enough? Can you vote on something without having us here, as long as there's one supervisor from every township? The
Yeah.
planning commission is in on everything, always.
The minimum quorum for each township is one supervisor.
Right.
So as long as we have one supervisor from each
Right.
township, we can vote.
Okay, I don't wanna belabor it anymore.
This is all good. The one thing I just want to make sure is that, if we have a supervisor here, you're a 5-member board, you're a 5-member board. So if we have one supervisor here, hopefully the one supervisor can speak for their board, because we have had occasions where one of your Newtown board members would speak in a direction that was not in concert
Oh,
with the
really?
board supervisor. So that kind of throws off
Yeah, but
the.
I'm going off.
Don't worry, Dennis, it's not you.
But it is a concern. I mean, when you got one member that's saying, this is what we gotta do, and then it gets back to your board, it's like, hell no.
Listen, I'm going to be attending, so.
Okay,
Like Chester, you always had Zoom. Anybody can connect in Zoom
that's also
and
good.
have put their 2 cents in, right?
That's all, I didn't need to take so much.
No, but I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a good thing to work toward next year's, we'll advertise everything, we'll meet in January. Doesn't look like we have anything that we're gonna need for February unless we have a whole bunch of new ordinances come down. I know Wrightstown is, it hasn't come to the planning commission yet, but Wrightstown has a couple of things it would like to propose.
What, like adult entertainment?
Wasn't that one?
Yeah, we possibly have.
Yeah, so, I
small-
mean, these are little small fixer-uppers of things, on the ordinance. We haven't talked to everybody yet, but it's, if my board is in agreement, and the planning commission, my planning commission is in agreement, then we're gonna, it'll come to the jointers at some point, But a lot of this stuff could get circulated administratively, as opposed, so that can work too. Okay, good suggestion, thank you. All right, new business, I put in the packet, we have a proposal from General Code to codify the existing ordinances that were adopted this past year into the zoning ordinance. Their cost is $920 to $1,095 is the range they give. And if we book the codification by the 23rd, we get a 10% rate. Now, in the past, I used to say, well, why don't we wait a year and then, we can codify more ordinances next year. Turns out we don't save anything in terms of, the work is the work is the work. They've got so many ordinances to do, or so much, it's whatever the paperwork is. So it's basically time So it makes more sense to sometimes get these things codified and updated in the ordinance so that everybody has the current copy and people don't get confused. So I'm going to ask for a motion to allow me to sign off on the contract with General Code to proceed with the codification.
So moved.
I'll second.
And we have a motion.
And I second, you know, the planning commission, not a supervisor.
Yeah, in this group, I think yes.
You are
Oh, yeah, right.
you are delegation.
Okay.
All right, so we have motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries, take care of that. We've already talked about authorizing our meeting schedule. The one thing that should not be, that there should be no joint planning
Yes.
in this year's advertisement. Just a note that Upper Makefield Solicitor will be the solicitor for the jointure for the next 2 years.
So did we actually authorize the advertisement there?
Let's do that. Do we have a motion then to authorize the advertisement? Dennis, we have a second?
I'll second.
Kathleen.
Am I signing my, that's why all this stuff.
No,
Nobody else is saying a word.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, all right. All right, solicitor, this
That was
is,
a fast 2 years.
I know, but it has been nice working with all of you for 2 years. It'll be another 4 before I see you again, so. But yes, thank you. It was nice working with all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Great
you.
to work with.
I assume it's gonna be Will?
Sure thing.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'll make sure to fill him in on everything that's going on and bring him up to speed.
Yeah.
You've done a great job.
Set it up.
Thank you.
it'll be, yeah, it'll be funny that he'll see that ordinance.
I know he's gonna go wireless. Oh.
Wow. Well, he knows it still. We talk about planning.
Can't get rid of it. So. All right, so anything, privilege of the floor, any comments? Any public comment?
I'd like to make a comment. Dennis, our planning commission member, our supervisor for many, many years, and this is it.
Yep.
You're finally gonna do
This
it.
is your very last meeting.
Yes.
Well, you left
Well, I have-
planning because you said you had a lot of things to do in life, and the next month you were a supervisor. So, don't do that again.
He'll be back with planning.
But I wish you all the best.
Now I'm on the sewer.
Yeah.
So,
But thank you,
And
thank you
his
for all your
wife wants
service.
My pleasure.
All right, sounds good. And I just do want to acknowledge Melissa Merck, who's in the audience, who's the new elected supervisor from Newtown. So she's not up here, but she'll be up here next month. So, so we look forward to working with her. Yeah. All right, with that, I will
And
entertain.
let me say, she's
Yes.
no John Mack. And I mean that in the best of ways.
Don't put that in the minutes, take that out.
Do I have to? Do I have to bleep that out of my report?
I don't know, but you can or you can't, it's no matter to me. I'm just saying, it's gonna be,
Well, you know, you can say anything about a public official, and
I
it's not a
know.
problem.
I can't help it this last 2 months, I can't help it. It's been hard.
Different person.
All right, sounds good. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, so, Ellen and Dennis, all right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Have a great holiday, everyone.
Yes.
Good holiday.